Hello, America. This is TV's Dave Galvan with another episode of Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvan. That's me. Okay, so last week I got a lot of fun comments. I told you what I did not like on the brand new Star of the Seas that Jashawn and I actually took together just last week. Today we're going to talk about what I did like, and it's going to be a bit more positive, which is ironic because the positive ones, the positive podcasts, the positive posts I make don't get half the audience as the negative ones. And the negative ones, I just get people bitching and moaning because my opinion's different than theirs. I mean, start your own damn podcast if you don't like my opinion. Start a podcast that calls Why I Hate Dave's Opinion. That works. All right, so let's start with the thing that I love the most. Royal Caribbean's customer service is top notch. When I used to think of awesome customer service, I used to think of Disney. I had a bad experience in Disney World, so they're not even on my radar anymore. It's now Royal Caribbean has the best customer service that I've ever had in my life. Even Alaska Airlines has kind of gone downhill. As we were flying home on our Alaska plane, the plane smelled like urine. And like literally my butt cheeks barely had a chance to hit the chair when this flight attendant, "You gotta put your bags underneath the chair in front of you. They gotta fit under there." And I'm like, "Lady, how many of these do I have?" I mean, seriously, it was the worst experience of my life having to fly on that thing. Pissed me off too. Paid enough for it. But I digress. Royal Caribbean, your customer service is top notch. You make Carnival look like complete amateur hour. No joke. Second thing I liked was the food. I'm usually not a fan of cruise food. I usually think it's overcooked and very bland. The food, at least on the voyage we were on, was fantastic. We had lobster tail. It was all right. I mean, lobster tail tastes like lobster tail. I had oxtail soup, which was amazing, and all this other fantastic food. It was the best food I've had on any cruise ever. No joke. Next, everything just looked and felt new. You kind of had that new ship smell. Everything was fantastic as far as the carpet was cushiony and it felt good on your feet. It was really nice change of pace. We've always been cruising on the older ships that sometimes they need a little facelift here and there. Next was the elevators. I really like how they had the elevators. Instead of just a bank of elevators, you push a button and wait for one to show up. This case, you push the floor you want to go to, and it tells you which elevator you should go to because it will get you there faster. I usually spend most of my cruise waiting for elevators, and it gets pretty maddening. I really dig how they did the elevators on this ship. And my last three comments is about the shows. First of all, there's the Back to the Future musical. It is fun. The cast is very good. It's a bit long at 2 hours. Dude, we all know the story, okay? You don't need to make it 2 hours long. The guy who played Marty McFly's father, George McFly, oh, he was perfect. I mean, he nailed it. But the show was a bit long. The ice show was better than I expected it to be. The ice show is not usually something that I care for, but these guys were fantastic. You know, they had your regular ice show, which is dancing and ice capades type thing. And then they brought out the speed skaters who were jumping and doing flips and cartwheels in the air. It was really cool. About 45 minutes long. And then there's the Aquadome show, which you can YouTube it if you want to know more about it. But I'll have to say it was really, really cool. They had people diving everywhere. They had people diving from places you never expected them to be, and all that. And I'll tell you, Royal Caribbean ain't screwing around. We were sitting on one side, and we saw two people on the other side. They were yelling at each other. There were fingers in people's faces. Man, it was something else. Next thing I know, there's Royal Caribbean security showing up. The people they shut up real quick. They just sat there. They didn't want anything happening. They just didn't want to miss. They didn't want to get locked in their room. They were just sitting there. They weren't screwing around. And security stayed right next to these people the entire time. That was better than some of the shows on some of the cruises I've been on. It was a great pre-cruise show. A bunch of people in each other's faces. I heard it was over someone saving a seat for someone else, and somebody wanted to sit there, and yada yada, and tempers flare because, alcohol. It happens. And it just kind of became that way. But I'll tell you, Royal Caribbean, they put a handle on it real quick. That was fun to see. And that was our positive things we had to say about Royal Caribbean's Star of the Sea. We really did enjoy our vacation. We really did enjoy our time. I will say I am tired of flying from Portland to Florida, and I'm going to sort of not do that anymore and start scheduling cruises a little closer to home. That 6-hour plane trip, just after a while, no, I'm good. I'm done. Thank you. No more. So our next cruise is going to be January of 2026. We're going to check out Margaritaville. I've heard nothing but bad things, but then I see on YouTube people seem to be enjoying them. Who knows? But next month, September of 2025, Jashawn and I are going to spend 3 days up in Anchorage, Alaska. We're going to see what Anchorage has to offer. As you may recall, our oldest daughter recently moved to Alaska up in Anchorage, and now we're going to go visit her and see how she's doing. So, that's that. Thank you much for joining us. Please hit the like button, hit the follow button. It helps me out personally. I do appreciate it. And we will see you next week. Brand new episode of Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvan. Bye.